All right, students. Yesterday we started topic 8, which is chapter 8 in your book, and it's on statistics. And we worked on statistical questions and what made a statistical question. Remember, the answer to that is a statistical question has more than one right answer, has 2 or more answers to it. So yes or no questions are statistical, true or false questions are statistical, and anything that has a range is a statistical question, a range of answers. Today we're going to do lesson 8.2, starts on page 475 and runs through page 481. This is one of the most important lessons you will learn in statistics. In fact, everything we're going to do this week is very, very, very important and useful. So today we're going to learn to summarize data using the mean, or the median, or the mode, or the range, or all of them. Okay? 8 students were surveyed about the number of hours they spend each week reading for fun. That's a statistical question. Order their responses from least to greatest. Now, order means to put them in order. And we always do least to greatest. You can do greatest to least, but 90% of the people do least to greatest. What do you notice about the number of hours these students spend reading each week? Okay, so our first job is to take this set of data. This list of numbers is called data, and we're going to put them in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to look through here, and I see 11, 4, 7, 13, 3. 3 looks like the least. So I'm going to put a 3, and I'm going to put them up and down. You can do them horizontal, but I'm going to do them vertically. And I'm going to check mark that I've done that one. And then I'm going to put the 4. I've done that one. And then I've got a 5 over here. And then I see 2 7s, and you have to write them both down. And then I see an 11 and a 12 and a 13. Now count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I usually put that up there and circle it. That's how many numbers I have, because I need to know that here in a minute. Okay, so we've put them in order from least to greatest. And it says over here, and look for relationships. How does ordering the responses from least to greatest help you analyze the data set? Well, it helps in such a way that we know this is the very small list. One person only read 3 hours, and one person read, over 3 times that, 4 times that. A little over 4 times that. 4 times 3 is 12. So this one read a whole lot more than this one did. And we can kind of find the middle in there. Looks like this was about the average, maybe. And so we can just tell a few things by putting them in order from least to greatest. Okay, and I'm going to use this set of data right here to define the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. Okay, so I'm going to put the words down here, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a definition. The mean means the same thing as average. Now, if I ask you to average your grades, you would add them all up and divide by how many you had. If I ask you to average your homework grades, you would add only the homework grades and divide by the number of homework grades to get your homework average. If I ask you to average your test grades, you would add up only your test grades and divide by how many tests you had taken to get your average test grade. So average means add them all up and divide by how many. Okay, so we're going to add all these up. And I'm going to start right down here with this 3. 3 and 2 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 and 7 is 13. 13 and 7 is 20. 25, 29, 32. Okay, and then I have 3, 4, 5, 6, so I get 62. I want to re-add those just to check myself, and I'm going to start from the top and go down this time. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 and 5 is 12. 19. This 1 makes 20, and add on that 7 is 27. 28, 29, 32. Looks like we're right. Okay, now we're going to take that 62, and either by hand or with our calculators, we're going to divide by 8 because there were 8 numbers. So 62 divided by 8 is 7.75. So we got 62 divided by 8 is approximately, no, it is exactly 7 7/75. That is an equal sign. Okay? All right. Now we're going to do the mode. Median. The next one in line up here is the median. So we're going to do the median. Now, I want you to remember this way. If you're driving down the road and it's 2 lanes going one way and 2 lanes going the other way with that space in between, the space in between is called the median. Median means middle. Middle. Okay, so the way we find the median is we look for the middle. When we've got an even amount of numbers, there's not going to be a number right in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the middle is in between these 2 numbers. So if they're the same number, that makes it real easy. So the median is going to be 7. If they weren't the same number, if this was a 7 and this was a 10, then we would have to add 7 and 10 and take the average of those 2 numbers. But when it's the same number, that's just going to be your median. So median means middle. Mean means average. Okay? Mode means the one that shows up the most number of times. Well, there's only one number in that list that shows up more than once, and that's the 7. See, this shows up 1 time, 1 time, 1 time, 2 times, 1, 1, and 1. So the mode is 7. The mode is 7. Shows up the most number of times. The range is going to be the high minus the low. The high number is 13, and the low number is 3. So 13 minus 3 is 10. The high number minus the low number, meaning high is in size. Okay? Okay. Let's see if we can answer this question down at the bottom. But before we do you notice that we have 2 that are the same? The median and the mode are the same. Do you think that's going to happen every time? No. Do you think we could have an absolute different value for every one of these? Yes, we could. Do you think 2 or 3 of them could be the same? Sure, it could. So you never know. You got to follow the instructions. We're going to take the average to get the mean. We're going to find the middle one after we put them in order from least to greatest. We're going to look and see what shows up the most times. And there could be more than one. Like if there had been 2 5s and 2 7s, we would put 2 answers down here for this. And the range is always going to be the high minus the low. In this case, it was the 13 minus the 3 for a range of 10. Okay, now let's see if we can answer this question down here. Jamal says that the middle value in a set of data is the number that occurs the most often. Evan disagrees. Why does Jamal say what he says, and why does Evan disagree? Well, we just kind of talked about that. It ended up in this case that the median was the one that showed up the most times, but it doesn't have to be that way. It only happened in this case. Evan is correct. the median is also the mode, but only in this case. It's not going to happen every time. Okay, let's turn our paper over and see what we have going on the other side. Example 1. Let's see if they agree with what I just told you. How can you use a single measure to describe a data set? Well, we could use the median to describe a set of data. Carla is in a bowling league. The league is ranking the teams by average score. What is the mean or the average? Isn't that what I told you it was? What is the mean or the average final score of the 5 bowlers on Carla's team? Well, here's their bowling scores right here. Okay? The mean or average is the sum, that means add them all up, and divide by the total number of data values in the set. So, they're going to do that right down here. To find the mean, we're going to equally share the final scores among the 5 bowlers. So we're going to write down the 95, the 87, the 84, 81, 83. We're going to add them up, and we get this right here. And then we're going to divide by 5, because there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bowlers. So the mean, or the average, or the final score is 86. Just like I showed you a minute ago on the front page. A mean is called a measure of center. Right here. A mean is a measure of center. A measure of center summarizes a data set with a single value. What this means is, if all 5 of these bowlers had bowled an 86, that would be the mean. See, there's some higher than 86. There's some lower than 86, but the average is 86. Okay, so the mean is called a measure of center. All right, let's do the try it. Next week, Maria bowls a 151-point game. Well, if you look up there in your chart, Maria was an 81. The other bowlers matched their scores. So, we're going to come up here and we're going to change this to a 151 for Maria. And all the others are going to be the same. So we're going to take our calculators and we're going to take 95, we're going to add it to 87, we're going to add it to 84, then we're going to add 151, because she scored a lot better, and add it to 83 and hit equals. And then we're going to divide by 5. Now what's the average? Okay, so we got 500. We're going to divide it by 5. And we got 100. What is the new mean? 100. So what did her scoring a really high game do to the mean? So Maria raised the average score from, what was it before? 86? From 86 to 100. She pulled it all up. Okay? And we already answered the convince me also. Okay, so just one person scoring a really high game pulled the average way up. All right, let's go to example number 2. Median. What did I tell you the median was a minute ago? Median means middle after you put them in order from least to greatest. So, the median is also considered a measure of center. It's the middle data value. To find the median, order the values from least to greatest and then find the middle value. Okay, let's read the problem. Trey and Sarah each download songs to their music libraries. Their players list each type of music and the total playing time in minutes for each type. How can Trey and Sarah each summarize their data sets using the median? Okay, so we've got two sets of data down here. See if I can get it all on there. Here is Trey. This is Trey's over here, and this is Sarah's. So they took this set and put the lowest one first, which was 59, and then 61, and then 62, then 63, 67, 67, 72. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 pieces of data. So with an odd amount of data, there's going to be one that is right smack dab in the middle. See, there's 3 here and 3 here, so this one right here is absolutely the median. Okay? Over here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's only 6 pieces of data for her. So there's 2 that's in the middle, so you have to average them. You have to take the 38, add it to the 42, hit equals, and divide by 2, and you get 40. And that's how they got the 40 right here. So if it's an even set of data, you're going to have to average the 2 in the middle. If it's an odd set of data, there'll be one exactly in the middle. Okay? And that's what I was showing you a while ago. Example number 3. Mode. Mode means the one that shows up the most number of times. So the mode is also considered a measure of center. It's the value that occurs most often. A data set can have one mode, no mode, or more than one mode. Okay, so this one has a mode of 67. This one doesn't even have a mode. There's nothing that repeats, so there is no mode. So you can have one mode, you can have no mode, or you can have more than one mode. All right, let's try it. Nadia's grades on 4 quizzes. Find the mean, the median, and the mode. So we're going to come over here and we're going to list 75 is the lowest, and then 85, and then 95 and 95. So I got 4 pieces of data. I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to put 75 plus 85 plus 95 plus 95 equals and divide by 4. And I get 87. That was a total of 350. Then I'm going to take the 350 and divide by 4, and I'm going to get 87.5, and that's my mean. Now I want the median. Well, there's an even number, so I have to average these two right here. So what is 85 plus 95 divided by 2? Should be 90. There's a spread of 10, so halfway would be the middle. So my median is equal to 90. There's the mean, there's the median. What about the mode? Well, the mode's the one that shows up the most number of times, so it's 95. Now, are any of these the same? Do they have to be the same? No, they do not have to be. So we found the mean, that's the average. We found the median, that's the middle. We found the mode, that's the one that shows up the most number of times. Now that's how I want you to remember these. Mean, average, median, middle, mode, most. Mean, average, median, middle, mode, most. Okay, turn your paper over. Example 4. Now we got to learn about range. What did I tell you it was on the first page? The highest one minus the lowest one. Let's see what they say. The range is a measure of variability. Notice they didn't say measure of center. They said measure of variability. Variability means how much does it vary. It varies from this low one to this high one. Okay, so a measure of variability describes how the values in a set vary with a single number. The range is the difference of the greatest, which I call the high, and the least, which I call the low. The highest minus the lowest. Okay, so let's look at Trey's music library. And they've ranked them from least to greatest. You must do this. Put them from least to greatest. And then we find the highest, write it first, subtract the lowest, and there's my range. So Trey's was 72 minus 59 for a range of 13. Sarah's was 51 minus 35 for a range of 16. So her range is a little larger than his range. Okay. That's easy. That's just put them in order and then subtract. That's easy. Example 5. We're going to find all 4 things. Use the mean, the median, the mode, and the range to describe a data set. 7 people waited in line for the Whirl and Twirl carnival ride. Find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range of the wait times for the carnival ride. What do the mean, median, and mode tell you about the wait times? Okay, so they're going to teach you how to describe it. Now look at what they say right here. The mean, the median, and the mode each give a measure of a typical wait time for the ride. The mean, the median, and the mode. See how these are all pretty close in size. The range is totally different. The mean and the median wait times were 13 minutes. We're describing. They've already found these things for you, and we're just learning to describe the data set. 2 pairs, each weighted 12 or 15, that's the mode. The range uses a single number to describe the wait time, how the wait times vary. So the wait times vary by 5 minutes. Okay, now we're going to do one, except we're going to find everything. So we're going to go find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range, and then we're going to describe it like they did in example 5. Okay, so let's see. I see a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to use this space up here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I see a 6, 8, 9, and 12. 6, 8, 9, and 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we have them all. Okay, and I've put me a little 9 over here. I know it's an odd number, so finding my median is going to be real easy. Let's go do the mean first. 9 and 2 is 11. 11 and 8 is 19. 19 and 6 is 25. 25 and 4 is 29. 29 and this 1 is 30. And 5 more makes 35. We're putting together compatible numbers. If you don't trust yourself, then you go add them up. So then I'm going to take for my mean, I'm going to take 45 and I'm going to divide it by 9. Well, that's going to give me an answer of 5. My mean is going to be 5. 9 fives is 45. Let's go find the median. Median is going to be my 5th number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 4 on that side. There's 4 on this side. So my median is going to be 4. My mode is the one that shows up the most number of times, and I don't see one. So there is no mode. There's nothing repeated. My range is going to be 12 minus 0. 12 minus 0 is 12. Okay, now we have to describe this. Okay, so the mean and median are almost the same, and their is no mode. There is a large range of 12. Done. The range is a whole lot bigger than any of these other numbers, so the range it's quite a large range for a problem like this. All right. I think you're going to like these once you figure out which one is which. All right. Key concept just goes over everything we've already done. It shows you how to find each one of these. This is a page that you should keep somewhere probably. I wish that during the course of the year, and we might do this next year, every time we got to one of these key concepts, I wish we had cut it out and put it in a little notebook. If we had done that on every lesson, then we would have a really good set of notes. So we might want to think about doing that next year. Okay, so they've just, mean means average, median means middle, mode is most, and range is the high minus the low. Let's write that on there. This is the average. This is the middle. This is the mode, shows up the most number of times, and this is the high minus the low. And then we're going to do the do you understand. All right, number 1. Do you understand? How can you use a single measure to describe a data set? We can use the mean, median, and mode to describe the measure of center and the range to show the variability. Period. 3 of those show the measure of the center. 1 of them shows the variability. All right, number 2. Maddie scored 3 goals, 2 goals, and 4 goals during her last 3 soccer games. How can you find the mean or average number of goals Maddie scored? Add up the goals and divide by 3. Add up the goals and divide by 3. Number 3. Why is it important to order the data when finding the median? I don't know how we say that. The middle's not the middle unless you put them in order. Okay? The middle, I'm going to say it just like that. The middle is not the middle unless they are in order. They have to be in order. Okay, let's look at number 4. The table shows data about the students in 3 classes. What is the mean number of boys in the 3 classes? The mean number of boys. So this is boys at the head of this column. So we're going to add these 3 numbers and divide by 3 classes. So we're going to take the 15 and the 12 and the 12 and add it up. With your calculator or without. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 39. So 39 divided by 3 is 13. So the mean is 13 for boys. Then it says, what's the mean number of girls? So we got a 14, a 12, and a 16. Well, 6 and 4 is 10 and 2 is 12. So that's 42. So I need 42 divided by 3. And that's 14. So the mean for boys, this is boys, and this is girls. 13 for boys and 14 for girls. So you got to do them this way. Okay? What is the mode of the number of girls? What is the mode? Do you see any number repeated here? So there is no mode. Okay, look carefully at number 6. What is the median number of students? Okay, so I've got to add up the students in Miss Green's class. So that's 10, 29. That's 12 and 12 is 24. And 12 and 16 is 28. Now I've got to add up those numbers. I got to add 29 to 24 to 28 because they want all the students. 29 plus 24 plus 28, grand total of 81. Then I want to take 81 and divide by 3. And I get 27. So I have 27 average. Teachers, I believe your textbook says the answer to this is 28. There's a mistake there. It's 27. So just double checking that, make sure I had my numbers correct. So I think your answer in your textbook should be 27, not 28. Okay, turn your paper over. Oh, guess what we got going on here? Practice and problem solving. We don't get good at anything if we don't practice. Not soccer, not basketball, not math. So we must practice. All right, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 problems here on page 480. If you need more practice, you also have page 481 to do out of your workbook if you need that. Make sure you always put your data in order from least to greatest before you begin, and then make sure you know which one it's asking for and how to find it. Okay, measures of center, mean, median, and mode, measure of variability, range. Know them all, and I'll catch you next time.